It's the Full Force News Burst, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80. Now let's get into the news.
Full Force!
Full Force indeed. Hello guys, how is everyone doing? Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening this Wednesday. So I thought I would go ahead and do like a little, because I mean, you get ready to see me every single evening now for the next 6 days. But no, I thought I would go up and do like a little preview sort of episode where we talk through what we might expect, what I think what I'm expecting to see, and stuff like that, and then basically talk fun stuff all evening, because tomorrow it's going to be preview night. And then Friday is like the actual big one. We're going to have like the panels and all that kind of jazz, which it sounds like are actually going to be broadcast by Hasbro themselves as well. So that's nice. But still, obviously, if articulated points, Phil, if you're doing one, that's cool as well. I'll still watch yours. But yeah. We need to kind of just go through all of the stuff that we know so far, what we might expect, and then some other little extras like what I'm expecting to see in regards to, see here in terms of name only reveals and see in terms of maybe digital renders and stuff like that. So let's have a little chat, shall we? So it's Sdcc preview, not preview night, just to confuse everybody, just a preview. So let's get it going. I don't know what I just said then. Right, so lots to get stuck into, and we're actually going to start not with SDCC itself, but rather with Walmart and Walmart CollectorCon, because obviously there's a few things happening tomorrow as well in the morn, and I think in the afternoon, where we get pre-orders to deal with. So Walmart, who's Walmart? Walmart Comic Con will be dropping not only classified stuff, but also this Super 7 exclusive Cold Slither box set, which features Zartan in his already like this version, basically, that I'm holding right now, the kind of one that came out already in the wave, but with a different card back and an additional little excuse me, a little figure stand. Excuse me, I just ate a little bit too soon ago and nearly all came back. I don't dislike this figure to the point where I'm going to throw up, just kidding. But yes, Zartan Cold Slither, this is going to be Walmart. It says Super 7 exclusive. Basically it'll be available on Super 7's website after, I believe, Walmart. So Walmart get it first for the CollectorCon, and then it'll be up on Super 7 from now, in actual fact, says Jason. Thank you, Jason. So that's one. And of course, Walmart CollectorCon pre-orders do not stop there for G.I. Joe. We have Night Force Beachhead Quick Kick. Sorry, not streaming the Hasbro panel this year. Security got awful mad at me last year, says Phil. No problem, Phil. What timing I have to go live and then literally almost throw up on camera. That's hilarious. I don't know what just happened there. Anyway, this is crazy. I might have to cancel. I'm so sorry. But yes, we've got Night Force Beachhead and Quick Kick. I can't talk. That's crazy. What is going on? I'm not that upset about it. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. Eric's like, hurl, do it, bro. I should have done. Yes, so Night Force Beachhead and Quick Kick. The Lexington 2-pack. That will be going up on Walmart CollectorCon 7/24, obviously tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. So be ready. You never know. No, actually, no. Walmart usually it's like a couple of minutes if you're lucky. Target the ones that post it at 3 a.m. The kind of, the night before. It's hilarious. So yeah, so Walmart CollectorCon, Beachhead, Night Force Quick Kick, they're going to be going up. So bear that in mind. Make sure you make a note of that as well. Also, This will get is well coming back to Super 7 again. We have another variant. We have two more variants, in actual fact, of the Cold Slither box set. This one, I believe, is just available. This is going to be an SDCC exclusive to some degree, but is going to be available by the looks of things. Actually, out of the three variants, this one's my favorite, mainly because like the other one I already have, like in terms of deco, from the kind of retail figure, and the other variant is effectively Zartan's standard kind of deco. So this one is definitely the most interesting to me. Eric says snake armor arrived today. Cool. I just got a shipping notice for the claw. I think for the claw. Yeah, Cobra Claw. Can't wait for that. 46 says, you just made a new Joe, Walmart. He comes with a laser target system so you can locate those hard to find figures. Man, that's genius that you've come up with the bio, an appropriate of bio for it as well. Zebra Force Zartan indeed, Scott, for this one. But yeah, there's another one for you. And then we have the cartoon version, which I like the premise of this, where they've kind of, given him the deco of his kind of cartoon version. But I tend to like, I'm enjoying the kind of vinyl, the different color vinyl on these ones as well. You know what? I kind of want all this. This is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, this particular cartoon one. So this will be available Big Bad Toy Store. So everyone you get an exclusive, you get an exclusive, you get an exclusive. Brilliant. There are going to be a lot of these Zartan figures, I think, aren't there? Anyway, quite like these little box sets. I do kind of want one of these. That one's really, I love the vinyl on that one. I love the blue as well on the kind of like the title and around the graffiti edges and everything. But this one I just love because of the pink and the black and white kind of zebra stripes. It's amazing. Anyway, lots and lots of exclusives for SDCC, for Big Bad Toy Store, for Walmart, for Super 7 themselves. It's ridiculous. Everyone gets a Zartan. Now, they also have your classic SDCC exclusives that we all expecting because they revealed them at Joe Fest. Obviously, we've got Serpentor from his Deke cartoon deco version and Reaction Plus, of course. And as well as Serpentor, which is cool and all. Like I don't have that wave, so I don't have that Serpentor, the first one, but it's really cool that we're getting lots and lots of O-ring figures. I know, like I've a lot of friends, Pat included, who absolutely love O-ring. So I'm happy that for those guys that they're getting a lot of options, not just with Super 7, but with like ever so slight amounts from Hasbro still. I'm talking Void Rivals. That's another one actually I should have included in this particular group. But the Void Rivals set with Jetfire, that should, imagine you're seeing that image. I might actually be able to cheat a little bit. When did I talk Void Rivals? I can't remember when I talked Void Rivals. I don't think it was then. It was probably a weekly I did it. Maybe it was that one. I've just completely, I'm just shut down a little bit here, haven't I? No, it wasn't that one. Remove that from studio. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was was it this one? You guys don't know what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing, and that's probably for the best. I am just searching for Void Rivals. There we go. So I can actually, I'll do this instead. So once we've finished this, I'll switch on over to that. But yeah, Serpentor, lots of O-ring options, as I was saying before, and of course, lots of other companies doing O-ring too. Obviously, Skeletron doing amazing stuff with O-ring figures. You've got loads. There's loads of little companies. It's great. Oh, hello, Annie in the house, running up and down the stairs. Brilliant. You were this close to getting another view of the dog there. Anyway, so yeah, lots of companies doing amazing O-ring figures. So it's I'm really happy for all the people that are really enjoying those. And then of course, as well as that Serpentor, we get the Time Bomb Bat, which I got to admit, this is not one I ever expected to see. I'm quite into it. And also, I think it's more the card than anything else. Like, it's the bat we've already had, but with like maybe a retooled body for the time bomb. I don't know how much of that is retooled or if it's just a very simple, the bomb sticks on there quite easily, no worries sort of thing. Either way, I love the card on this one. Again, it's from this particular issue that we see the time bomb bat. Here he is, getting strapped up and about to blow some stuff up and then getting tackled and then blown up anyway. But yeah, you got this one. And then of course what I love about the card is just the amount of damage that's on it, like the burnt edges, the tears and the rips. I'm kind of hoping those holes are legitimate holes as well, like that they're actually like physical holes going through the card, because that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm loving this. Buy this toy, this I command, says Same Time Toys. OMG, OMG, Colster the Squee, says the Figure 6-pack. We'll get to that shortly. That bat is fire, need a classified version, says Out of Shelf Space. The card is pissed off, says Jason. It looks it, doesn't it? It looks really pissed off. That's from when they leveled the pit. Yes, Chris G. What was it? Issue 83, I think it is. Anyway, that is really cool. And again, not something I expected. What's really interesting about what kind of ends up happening that's a bit weird for this one is the fact that the cover is so not really what the bat's all about. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's from this issue, obviously, but you kind of, I think they might have been better doing just like that panel from the comic as the card back, which might get a little bit busy and a bit confusing, what have you. But I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really convey the bat, but I do like the fact that you've got the layers burnt through the comic. So it's interesting because you can see different pages where the bat has blown up and caused that damage. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's gone into this particular card back. And I do hope that the edges are wibbly and there are holes in it, because that's freaking amazing. Yep. Now, Cold Slither will be going up at 12 p.m. Eastern for Premium Pulse members, and that will be tomorrow. So two big ones happening tomorrow. You've got the Night Force, Beachhead, and Quick Kick, and you've got the Cold Slither Classified box set. So like I said, Pulse Premium members should have access to both. They should have like that small amounts of Beachhead and Quick Kick at the same time they go up on Walmart and on Pulse. And obviously the same happens here for Cold Slither people that want the Cold Slither box set. It also goes up for regular pre-order on the 1st of August, by the way. So not only do we get a pre-order shot at this for premium members, we also get another one on the 1st of August. So fingers crossed. I hope you all get one, or the ones that want them anyway. So yeah, there you go. Cold Slither, GIJCS Arthur Deluxe, Sdcc, Bosch. Now, and obviously at the con, there will be lots of opportunities, I imagine, to get the exclusives. Although, from what I've heard, it is a nightmare sometimes in terms of just the amounts of people there. So it's like, a lot of lines, a lot of queuing, a lot of all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would make sure you get stuck in there. Now, the other one I wanted to talk about, of course, was the Void Rivals set. I was talking, of course, about O-rings a second ago, and this set will also be available at SDCC with, of course, Salila and Darak and Jetfire. So again, like, speaking of O-ring and related stuff to G.I. Joe and the show and everything, it's only fair that we mention and show images of this set, because this will be available as well. I imagine this goes up on Pulse 2, right? I haven't seen a listing for that, but there might be one on there. Let me just have a butcher's. I haven't seen one, but I'm going to put in Void and see what happens. The listing, no, it doesn't seem to be on there. So that one we'll have to kind of wait and see what's going on with that. But I imagine it will probably pop up at the same time, right? Noon. That one I'm not sure about. Had no idea there was a Void Rival set, says Eric. Really? Yeah. So this is a fun one. Like the two O-ring figures that utilize some, like, you know, you've got Zartan legs on Darak and you've got Baroness legs on Salila. And then they've got some. I think they might have some other parts shared in there as well. But for the most part, yeah, you've got some cool leg reuse. But you're getting some cool new O-ring figures there, especially with, you know, Void Rivals being connected to the Transformers and G.I. Joe Energon universe as well, which is cool. Yeah, there you go. Bad Wolves. I don't think tomorrow is a pre-order. I think it's going to be buy and ship. Oh, right. Okay. So cool. Yeah. So, okay. Available tomorrow, pre-order on August. Okay. That makes sense. Bad Wolf Media. Thank you for that bit of information. Although I don't have confirmation of that, but that does sound fairly spot on. Jason says lines are long at SDCC. Wear your Depends diaper so you do not need to go to the toilet. Desperate times call for knowing is half the battle, right? Did Hasbro get the Jetfire license from Harmony Gold? I heard there was a mishap the last time they did the Jetfire Sky Striker set. The mishap figure 6-pack was with the artwork they used years ago with the Jetfire SDCC crossover set from like 20 something teen. It was a while back. But yeah, that the Jetfire artwork was the problem that they used on the back of the box. I don't the actual figure they could make and all that kind of stuff. It was just the artwork that was Harmony Gold's, and that was a big no and a big problem, and no one realized until it was too late, and yeah, it caused all sorts of legal issues, and I guess probably a lot of money as well. But yeah, I don't think they're utilizing that particular what's the word? I don't think they're utilizing that particular IP, that image. This Jetfire is modeled after the cartoon, not the Valkyrie that was used for the original toy. Indeed, Jamie Lynn. And Bad Wolf says, to be clear, I also have no information, just reading between the lines. I'm planning on an immediate charge just in case. Good shout, actually. Yeah, good point on that one. Thank you very much. Right, so coming back to this. So like I said, it says pre-orders, but it could be in stock. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But yes, that is 7/24. That's tomorrow at noon. So make sure you've got your pulse pants on for that, and that's premium members. And like I said, regular pre-order will go up on the 1st of August, which is interesting as well. So they're making sure a lot of these are being made, I hope. Anyway, now let's move into what we might see in terms of possible SDCC pre-orders. Now, I think it's pretty safe to assume wink wink that we will be getting these particular retail wave of 4 mainline figures as pre-orders following SDCC. This has been the case every single time. Whenever there's been like a big event like this, pre-orders usually follow the event the week after. So I would kind of be planning for like, yeah, that Monday or Tuesday. Usually like Mondays are for like your Marvel Legends pre-orders, your Transformers pre-orders, and then they use like either Tuesday, it's usually Tuesdays, isn't it? Tuesdays or Wednesdays or whatever, a little bit later in the week for classified. So yeah, keep an eye out. Well, obviously they'll tell us over the convention when the pre-orders are going up. I would expect, like I said, shortly after the weekend. I'm betting the gut Saturday, says E-Worthy. I'm gonna bet Tuesday. Tuesday, innit? Whatever happened to Night Viper? That is a very, very good question, and I have no idea. I wonder if Night Viper got caught up in all like production issues and all that kind of stuff, and they had to sort of pivot a little bit with this wave, because we already saw a pivot with the previous wave of 4, and we saw like, you know, some stuff moved around, including, I believe, Night Viper was a part of that kind of shift. So yeah, I think it might have been one of those things. It may have been that it was never Night Viper, it was always Grim Viper, and it was misidentified for whatever reason, or miscommunicated at some point. There's a lot of different factors going on there. What I would say though, Walter's World is that the Night Viper is such a big popular character, like figure. I can't see that not happening soon. If it's not happening within this, this year's line plan, I would be extraordinarily surprised if it didn't happen next year. Yeah, they're hanging out with the police figure. Tuesday, innit, Scott? Sean says, anyone remember how many reveals we got last year? Just curious how much more we might see. Well, pre-orders. Well, let's get into that. What else might we see? So I feel like these are a lock as the mainline wave of 4. Then, of course, we also have the Desert Scorpion, BB Trent Pet. So I feel like this is another one, obviously, that will be in that group of pre-orders following the show, is what I'm expecting on this one. What was the question? Anyone remember how many reveals we got last year? I can't remember, Sean, but it was like a mainline wave of 4, wasn't it? And it was it the heavy duty modular fortification? Did we see that Sdcc, or am I making that up? That was actually MCM, wasn't it? What am I talking about? So what was before that? What was last year at Sdcc? Does anyone remember? I haven't got a clue. How far out do you think they'll push the police officer? Not a clue, actually, Worthy. Not a clue on that one. That is just like, we're going to get a vehicle reveal, I'm guessing, said Todd. That's a possibility. Jason says, Entertainment Earth Drop Zone has Hasbro pre-orders Friday at 5 and then 3 more Saturday at 2. Interesting. That is interesting, actually. Maybe that could be then. Could be on the weekend, couldn't it? Medieval Alchemist, hello all, can't wait for Sdcc reveals. Yes, I think we're all up for it at the moment. They better show off or announce more Arctic Joes to help the Haslab. You'd think Lunchbox Killer, wouldn't you? That would be like a good move, I think, to try and get that moving again, because as much as I feel like it's still probably going to be fine, it really has stalled in a massive way. Even though it sort of was going to happen, wasn't it? That would make sense with the Redeco kind of Grim Viper, easy make versus new sculpt. And I agree, Night Viper is one of the biggest ones. Not yet. Yeah, big time. Rattler was the... Yes, I suppose the Haslab being there at Sdcc may have been maybe like the... like a big deal. Sdcc was a wave plus the Haslab, says Bad Wolf Media. That sounds about right from what I remember. Hoping for a small orange vessel or a motorized cold climate land sled, says Blitz. Rattler and Bearpaw was Sdcc. Rattler and Bearpaw? Bearpaw? I'm so confused. Was Sdcc the polar bear tease? Was it a polar bear tease? Yes, it was, wasn't it? The kind of paw. Right, got it now. I understand now. I understand what you're talking about. Chris, the bear paw. Yes, the kind of like, yeah, that. Here's a thing. Raptor, Stardust, a Road Pig, and the second Legacy wave, says Childish Landino. Stardust was revealed, but was PulseCon exclusive. That was revealed at the breakfast, right? Or that were they all? Was it Raptor and Road Pig? Everyone's like, was Chuckles last year? No, Chuckles was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Chuckles was 2 years ago. Then it was. I have completely forgotten what was last year. Someone just say all the things we need them to say, please, in the comments. They had a few reveals and renders. I remember being excited for all they showed. Can't remember the numbers, but do remember being pumped afterwards. What Childish Landino said, plus the Twilight Guard versus Steel Brigade 2-pack and the Claw. Was that? Wow, that was a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, because the Claw was so far in advance, wasn't it? What else are we saying? Might be a reveal from the back of a previous figure that's blurred out. That'd be fun. New Bongo the Balloon Bear Van Sdcc special. Could you imagine? Still waiting for the Rattler to ship myself. E-worthy. No sign of that yet. The bear paw was a tease. Yes, it was. They only showed a paw. Yes, they did. Can't Coco, yes, Scott, thank you. Once a man. Can't believe I forgot that. Mindbender was year before Chuckles, I think. Yes, that's right. Hella Geek. I believe that's the case. Yeah. So it was it Chuckles, Mindbender, Once a Man? Where are we now, basically? It's crazy what happens in a year. It is crazy. The Ore Striker tire reveal was at New York Comic Con, I believe, the one I was at when they revealed that. The tease that, I should say. Yeah, Once a Man was the exclusive, not a reveal. Yes, Jason, that's correct. I'm still waiting for Goldhead Destro to lead the Iron Grenadiers, you and everyone else, big time. Could use a traveling van for Cold Slither. Actually, it'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it, to have like a little mini van that you could throw all the gear in. That'd be so funny. Yeah, so Desert Scorpion, coming back to that will be obviously mainline, and that'll be in there too. Now, in terms of other things like, you know, name onlys and what have you, this is where I refer to the listings. Now, as you can see on the left hand side, I'm not sure if have I communicated this yet, but it turns out that Grim Viper and Mainframe are specifically Sideshow Bob and Mo. So as it was stated previously, there was a Night Viper in there where Grim Viper is, and another figure name instead of Mainframe. Now, we don't know what's happened to those. As I said before, I imagine there was a lot of them. There was a huge mix-up because it was supposed the original third wave of the year was supposed to be Snake Eyes version 4, Sci-Fi, Monkey Wrench, the Night Viper, and Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Right? Was that? Have I said too many? It was Snake Eyes, Sci-Fi, Monkey Wrench, and Night Viper. That's what we had for that third group. Obviously, Night Viper and other got shifted down. Was it Night Viper and Sci-Fi got shifted down, and then Major Blood and Battle Armor Cobra Commander were brought up into this other way. So there was this kind of like weird shifting, and you can see clearly from the numbers as well, like the way that the numbers are kind of laid out for this. You know, everything's in order, and then and that was the case last year too. All of the listings that we had for the retail waves, they were all in order, and they all came out, and everything was as you expected. But this one, there was definitely a huge kind of shift there, and in that particular shift as well, we had not only did we have a little kind of shift on our hands, but they brought the wave that Snake Eyes, Monkey Wrench, Battle Armor, Cobra Commander, and Major Blood into April, after only shortly kind of having a wave of 4 show up for the February live event. So it hadn't even been like a month and a bit really before we had you know, the next wave like for pre-order, which was crazy. And that did feel weird because obviously the image wise it felt like, you know, it wasn't the same kind of situation. Like the figures didn't seem to get the same sort of treatment in terms of like the narratives and all that kind of stuff that, you know, usually woven in there and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, here they all are on a cliff, bosh, there you go, boom. And there was definitely that feeling of like, okay, yeah, there's a pivot going on here. There's some sort of like, you know, movement going on. We'd been told obviously a few months prior of the delays that we were going to be suffering with the classified series based on some sort of production factory issue or whatever. They never actually said officially, but you know, I think we all kind of read between the lines on that one. And then yeah, you end up with this kind of like weirdly paced odd rhythm to the release cadence, as they like to call it. And that left us with this this wave, which I've got to tell you, I'm very surprised they're doing it at Sdcc. I don't know, like I kind of almost expected them to push this wave to PulseCon. But what are we going to get for PulseCon? Don't know. Are we going to get another 4-figure wave? I'd be surprised. Are they going to bring like the listings from 2026 forward, like back? Are we going to get like a wave coming a little earlier? Kitty said. Don't know at this point, but I do know that Apu, Sci-Fi, Sideshow Bob, Grim Viper, Mo, Mainframe, and Mr. Burns Wetsuit will be the next mainline wave, as we've been told by, the recent information. And that, like I said, that means that kind of leaves things a little bit kind of hazy towards the back end of the year. When you look through the rest of the listings as well, obviously Desert Scorpion in there too. That's in yellow. That'll be green by the weekend, of course. And then obviously the Legacy Police Officer postponed. Don't know what's happening with that. I imagine it will come out eventually. Just don't know when. But then if we move over to the other side, there isn't a lot left that we haven't had, like, or uncovered, or like it's kind of we're nearly there. So to get into the back end of the year, Kitty said, to things like PulseCon 1027, what have you, what are they going to have left? I mean, they're going to have some stuff left, obviously, but one's a Target exclusive, one's a Walmart exclusive, and then we have a Fanmazon, and then a couple of Pulses. One of which I imagine would be the PulseCon exclusive. One of these might be. I don't know which one, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Yeah, or we don't have that listing for that yet. That's another thing. We might still be low on. There might be some other listings that have yet to join the arena. So we'll have to wait and see on a lot of this stuff. But it doesn't leave a lot. It's not a lot left, is there really? So when it comes to things like name only reveals, at this point, looking at this group, whatever, I mean, like, good luck. Like, I can't think of anything other than maybe Mad Marauder's Mutton Junkyard, which is what I think Chairface is, based on the price point being the figure and pet price point. It's a Fanmazon exclusive, so it feels like it could very easily be some sort of repaint there. But the rest of it, who bloody knows? So in terms of name onlys, just pick any names. I kind of feel like who are the most, put it in the comments here, please. Who are the most egregious absentees in the line so far? I'll give you a few moments to collate your ideas and information there. And in the meantime, we will move over to 2026. And again, not much really here to kind of get stuck into, is there? Tim Murphy says Flash. Good shout. Night Viper says Jason. Too easy. Lifeline Mark. Sean says Flash. Bias One says most of those would be main wave picks. Most of what would be? What time do I expect to go live after Friday's panel? I'll be doing day recaps, Stan. So every evening I'll be going live to do a recap of the day. Lifeline, Flash, High Tech, Lightfoot. Thank you, Viper Scout. Lifeline, says Scott. Airtight, Lifeline, Muskrat, Repeater, Hit and Run, Interrogator, says Ed. Yep, all good shouts. Hit and Run, Airtight, Short Fuse, Stealer, Zap, Deep Six, Zap, just because most will say Flash. Pythona, Globulus, Cobra La Guard. Good shouts, Jason. Lifeline, Jason, different Jason K. 46 Zone says Iceberg. Windmill, says Bryce H. Get out. Just kidding, you can stay. Windmills are great. Zap, Grand Slam, Flash, Stealer, Short Fuse, says Marnius. Jason, Hydro Viper. Good shout. GL, Airtight. The obvious missing ones, says Bias One. Oh, yeah, true. I get what you're saying. Flash, Hit and Run, Airtight. Yeah, all the usuals. Muskrat or Cutter with River Otter pets. I like it. All the remaining class of 82 and Ambush. I like that one, Eduardo. That's very specific. Short Fuse, Todd. Ghost Rider, says Chris G. Interesting. We need clarification on Night Viper, says One Pouch Man. That's true. Maybe, should we say, let's hope that one of the name only reveals is Night Viper. That would be great. Skid Mark, says Jim. I'm into it. Gold Destro, says Figure Six Pack. Medieval Alchemist, says Repeater. Zap, again, Eric, there. I always see posts asking for Hit and Run, says Comics E Cafe. Yeah, definitely. Bad says, can I toss out a crazy proposal for some future exclusive set? Non-essential, but fun for nerdy fans. Of course you can. Xeno Prime 1 says hardball, short fuse, ripcord, grand slam. I suppose ripcord technically is in the line, but yeah, you mean like the standard deco version, right? Yeah, matter of time, that one, Big Sean, I would say. In fact, for most of these, I think it is really a very, I mean, it's all a matter of time, isn't it? Let's face it. Hooded Cobra Commander says Venom. Snowstorm, I need my Cuban brother says Viper Scout. Fast Draw, Lunchbox Killer, love it. Sky Patrol says Pedro. General Flag, Johnny B54. Yeah, I like it. Okay, lots and lots of good shouts there, guys. We're just going to name literally every character now, right? Yeah, definitely. Let's do that. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say these: Night Viper, Hydro Viper, name onlys, by the way. And what was the other one? I was sort of like, I was thinking about. I think okay, so 2 Cobra name onlys is what I'm going to go with Hydro Viper and Night Viper, and then I'm going to give 2 Joe names just to cover my bases, and I'm going to go with. This is actually really tough. Hit and Run and Airtight. I'm going to say Airtight, Hit and Run, Night Viper, and Hydro Viper. They're my shouts. We can come back to this episode on Friday and we can say, Chris, you were way off. They didn't do any name. They cancelled the event. Sdcc was cancelled because of classified factory issue. Because, yeah. Anyway, yes, Terry, everyone has mentioned Flash yet. Ed says, I haven't heard anyone say Flash, so I'm going to say Flash. Amazing. Jason says, question, are the leaked listings for 26 incomplete as of right now? Correct. Yes, this is not all of them, Jason. This is literally all that is like out in terms of, you know, like, for example, we started the 26 listings with the retail waves of 4 on the left hand side and everything on the right that was in red apart from the retro listings. So if you imagine was it 8, 9, 10, 12 on the left and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the right. So that's what we started with 2026. We got a big amount of leaked listings and that's all we had. In that time since, we've added 3 retro listings and those 2 listings at the bottom. One of them obviously is a Snowcat and the other one is the defense post, but only because we're not sure if that's coming out in 25 or 26 yet. We don't actually have any information about the defense post other than what Lenny and Tony said in the interview, which was Lenny mentioned that it would be, you know, it would share some tooling and also be compatible with the modular fortification. So that was kind of cool information to get. Anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna. You can stop throwing in the comments. Well, you can actually no, you can keep throwing as many comments as you want. It's totally fine. But yeah, with in terms of all of the characters that we could hear from as name only reveals, yeah, it's getting. I mean, it's if we do a poll, it's Flash, and that's it pretty much. Everyone else was hardly mentioned. Only mentioned once each. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so this has evolved, it's grown, and there are a lot more listings to come for sure. Yeah, because if you look at this one had a very similar growth pattern. We started with the first 2 retail waves, I want to say, maybe the 3 retail wave listings, I think it was. And then we got another group of retail wave listings. And then all of the exclusives and all of those grew and grew and grew. And the retro, we started with 3 retro listings. We ended up with all of them. So yeah, it's, I don't know why they leak the way they do. I've never understood it. It's just some of them sneak out. And then it's like, okay, we've got another little batch here to work with, and then, you know, the detective work comes into play. But yeah, in terms of 26, this is grossly incomplete, of course. Now, on the left-hand side, we know nothing of the retail waves of 4, bar a few minor details, but we do not know characters. So that on the left-hand side is effectively useless information for us at the moment. Now, on the other side, we do know quite a few of the. In fact, We know all of these on the right-hand side, but we can't say until we've had those name onlys or digital renders or what have you, and we'll unlock them as we can. Okay, we will do that eventually. But we do know that obviously Taurus and Red Dog are a 2-pack in that particular Johnny 2-pack there, G2051, which is apparently a Fanmazen exclusive. That's cool. And then the other two are the ones that we already know about because they exist in official capacities. The defense post was a name only reveal, but we don't know a great deal about it. We don't know the internal code word, the number, anything like that. We don't even know if it's 2025 or 2026. It could be 2025. But we'll have to wait until we get more information about that one. And as for the Haslab Snowcat, I mean, we know what it is. The number is on the it's out there. It's for pre-order. Well, sorry, you know what I mean. It's for backing, I should say. So that we've just plopped on here because obviously we put all of the Haslabs on. There's the Rattler Dinosaur Neil 2025. And there is the Haslab Snowcat. No internal code word that we're aware of yet. I'm sure it will have one. They all seem to do. There you go. So that is again, it's a difficult one. Now, renders wise is something we can maybe talk about because what have we got that we haven't seen yet and only got name onlys for? I think everything is revealed here pretty much that isn't red, isn't it? Yeah. So we've seen everything either in render form or in full-on in-hand physical form for 2025, apart from obviously the red listings. But everything else is check. For 2026, Taurus and Red Dog is a good shout for maybe seeing their renders for Sdcc. Maybe the defense post as well. We might see the Steel Core Sentry with defense post revealed as a render. And that's all we have from name only reveals that are official. Other than that, what do you guys think? Because again, I think it's really anyone's guess at this point, isn't it? What I'd like for the rest of the year, a season without tariffs and taxes, says Figure 6-pack. That would be nice. Destro Iron Grenadiers with Air Sled, says Aaron. That would be wicked if they dropped that as a imagine if they just dropped that as a render. Just like, there you go, eat that up. That would be crazy. Arctic themed character, says J Reed 2112. Yes. Which ones though? Give me your favorite, J Reed. Give me your favorite Arctic themed character figure that you'd love to see. I think for me it's a toss up between Blizzard and Tundra Stalker. It's a toss up, and obviously Tundra Stalker would have to be a figure vehicle, I think, and I'd be down for that. But in terms of Blizzard, sign me up for that Lost Weekend, because that Blizzard. Thank you, JR or J Reed. Thank you for that one, because Blizzard, man, because you'd have that. I'd always have that that feeling like, oh, we could get this one in Tiger Force, and then my life would be complete. It wouldn't. There's so much more I need. I think my wallet is going to take a wallop, says Eric. I think it might, but not until it delivers. Thunder Machine and a tank for sure, says Pedro. That'd be cool. I think the Thunder Machine will be announced as a regular release, says Michael. That would be wicked. I need to see some water vehicles and snow figures, says Blizzard. Sorry, it says Blitz. I've got Blizzard on my mind now. The Despoiler is in need of redesign, says Jason. Yeah, well, they just make it massive, like everything else vehicles that they do. Hella Geek says IG Destro with Despoiler would be a great PulseCon exclusive. Yes, it would. Arctic Roadblock, says Jason. I like that shout with his jacket. Yeah, definitely. I would lean towards 1027 event for renders of those, says Flaming Crow. That's not a bad shout. Joe Armstrong Iceberg version 2 with the snowboard. Yes, Joe. And the yellow kind of ski beanie thing. Yeah, oh my god, that was a dope figure, wasn't it? Yeah, I love that one. I want a Devilfish or Shark, says Boba Fett Gaming. Tundra Stalker, says Jason. Iceberg and Blizzard, Rachel. Whiteout 2010 or Iceberg, says Blitz. Good shout. Yeah, no shot they are fitting the kayak in anything but a vehicle-sized box, says Bias. It's got to be figure vehicle, hasn't it? And you could just go to town with it a little bit, make it really awesome, loads of cool features on it, make it bloody float, and have that little like stabilizer that attaches to it as well. It'd be so good. And you could do other things with it. You can have like storage on it, like a little storage box to carry some gear and stuff as well. Like a little sleeping bag that went on there. You could really go to town with that. I think a vehicle tease might be a polar battle bear just to push along the snowcat. That would be fun, medieval. That would be really fun. Snow Serpent 2, says Michael. Yeah, that would be another good shout. Sub-Zero, Jeremy. Yes, indeed. If Stalker doesn't come with his kayak, we're storming Hasbro HQ. Yes, childish. Let's do it. Couchboy says, they took my image for Selfie Series twice. The fine print had to give them my likeness rights. I'd imagine Couchboy will come out eventually. They own my face, I'm sure of it. Yeah, and mine. I don't expect 2026 mainline renders at Sdcc, but I do want to clear up most of the red listings for this year. We've been waiting on those for so long. Agreed. 2-pack of Iceberg and Blizzard, says Martin. I'm with you on that. Iceberg needs to get some love in the accessories department, doesn't he? Which sounds really dodgy the way I phrased that. He needs to get some love in the accessories department. Wow. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Kitty said. But he definitely needs to come with more gear. Again, can't help myself. The Pogo will be revealed. Oh, that would be sweet, Jason. Arctic Cobra Commander, says Merging Lion. You've got legs in more Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes releases. So I think Arctic versions of them just make sense. Like if we don't see them in the next couple of years, what are they doing? Roadblock version 2, Boba Fett Gaming. So like a redo of his first classified version just to really confuse everybody. Yeah. Anyway, the kayak wood should be priced like the ferret or ram. I agree. Arctic all the things, says Jason. Put the Manta and kayak in the same box. That'd be cool. I would love for the Joe team to do a made to order Havoc, says Michael. Yep, that would be really cool. I'm still hoping for a version of Dawn Moreno. How have we still not got Dawn Moreno yet? So anyway, in terms of official name only reveals, I expect maybe to see these 3 in render form. Maybe. The fact that Taurus and Red Dog are slated for 2026 does make me think maybe we won't see that until later in the year, like was mentioned in here. But I think the defense post is a possibility. It just feels like it was right out of the blue as well. Like, here you go. Joey says Ice Viper for Cobra. I'd love the Ice Viper, Joey, if we got a wolf as well. Make it a kitchenette, canoe storage to split. Yeah, make it another kitchenette so the canoe stores in the friggin' snowcat. Yeah. Blizzard will all but guaranteed be a deluxe single because of his motorized sled thing. Yeah, I'd love Blizzard to be deluxe. Honestly, I'd be all over it. Anyway, so sorry, there's loads of comments. This is great. Obviously, I love all the comments. It's just taking me ages to get through them all. Iceberg will come with a snowboard. Yeah, that wouldn't be surprise me if even the version 1 came with a snowboard. Wouldn't surprise me at all. This name reveal classified or reaction plus? This is classified, W. Just for discussion, what will the reaction be if they announce a big stack of Arctic figures and then the snowcat fails or misses unlocks? Well, that's probably why they ain't doing that, is probably another thing, Bad Wolf Media. I can imagine like it wouldn't really matter to a major degree because people still want these figures. People still want Blizzard and Iceberg, whether there's a snowcat or not. So I don't think it changes anything if it fails. But I also don't think it'll fail. It might do. There's always that opportunity. There was that possibility, but we'll see, won't we? We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it pans out. But I could see them if it failed for whatever reason, right? If it didn't make it, you'd still get Blizzard, you'd still get Iceberg, you'd still get Snow Serpent version 2, you'd still get Sub-Zero, you'd still get friggin' Snowstorm and Wind Chill, and maybe not Snowstorm and Wind Chill, but it would be there. The opportunity to have Arctic figures would not diminish because the Snowcat didn't make it. Dreadnought's modular bike system, that'd be kind of cool. Laser Viper, there's one you don't hear a lot of, Boba Fett. Don't hear a lot of Laser Viper kind of like shouts, even though probably about 10 people might have said it in the comments and I just missed it. But yeah, it's funny. Laser Viper's a really good one. Laser Viper, Flak Viper. I've forgotten all the Vipers. Heat. I mean, Heat's got to be on there soon, hasn't it? I think the Heat Viper's got to be up there in terms of like major Cobra classified figures that need doing. Rock Viper's another one, I think. Laser, Heat, Rock, basically everything that was in Python Patrol in that six-pack, in that multi-pack from like back in the day. Yeah. Rock, Laser, Heat, Rock, Paper, Scissors, Viper. Yeah, so digital renders are currently these. This will obviously change very shortly. So tomorrow, excuse me, we can take Beachhead and Quick Kick off, and we can probably take the Sdcc Cold Slither off as well. And then, so for tomorrow's episode, which will be the report on the day for the 24th, which will include the Walmart Collecticon stuff and the Sdcc stuff. So then, yeah, we'll kind of be a slightly different looking here. And then after the weekend, we can remove the 3 Joe mainline and the Grim Viper and Desert Scorpion. So those will be off, and we'll be back down to the Legacy Police Officer and the Haslab. But we'll hopefully be adding a few more over the weekend as well with whatever we see. Like, you might be seeing a Taurus and Red Dog on there. We might be seeing modular fortification. What the hell is it called? Defense post. So, and any other things that would be kind of cool to see. So, yeah, this will obviously be chopped and changed a little bit over the next few days. But that's what you can expect when you speak to me every night this week, up until probably, I don't know, next Wednesday. It's gonna be me every night doing this, talking to you guys, getting excited. This is, I will say, I'm definitely but more buzzy right now this week than I was for some parts of Yojo June, based on all of the kind of I suppose the fan reaction more than anything, because we had some really, really cool stuff to enjoy over that month. But it was really just absolutely decimated by that cancelled fan stream, which we've sort of seen the after effects of with things like us getting to reveal a render, as if that was going to happen. I'm glad it got cancelled, because otherwise I don't think I would have had that Grim Viper reveal, that exclusive. That was so cool and so like mind-blowing to get that. So I was like really excited. But like I said, I feel like Yojo June had that sort of tarnished sort of like feel to it. Like it was a little like people were really upset and disappointed because they missed out on that extra fan stream that would have seen reveals, name only drops, obviously name only reveals, digital renders, which we're seeing now, obviously. What would they have had for SDCC though, do you reckon? That's another thing, isn't it? Because like, I feel they wouldn't have had all of this to show on that fan stream. They wouldn't have shown all of this. They probably would have split it up a bit. They probably would have had like 1 or 2 of them, and then the rest would have been at SDCC, I would imagine. But yeah, I'm telling you now, if the Snowcat doesn't fund, I will be devastated. I really want the bloody thing. Like, I think it's awesome. I understand why people aren't like, crazy about it like they were for, like, I don't know, the Hiss Tank, the Rattler, and even the Dragonfly. But yeah, we're at what, 7187. I feel like it's been in like 71 something for ages now as well. Did that miss fan stream hurt Ore Striker sales, says Red Walrus? Maybe, because they didn't get a chance to really talk about the Ore Striker at all, did they? Is it still in stock? Because I'm kind of not. Well, I am and I'm not, because obviously the way it was received. I'm just having a look now. Yeah, you can still pre-order it. You can still pre-order the Ore Striker. I think that may have had something to do with it. Yeah, like not being able to talk about it, not to be able to go in like detail and see the vehicle, like really see the vehicle. Like, it was really cool that Lenny had the Ore Striker on our interview and he showed us what it looked like, and it was really cool. But not having that extra, that kind of polished studio sort of look and all that kind of jazz. Like, yeah, I think, wouldn't say it hurt. Well, yeah, yes, I think it would have done. Yeah, I think it would have done Red War. So I think that's a very fair kind of outcome to, like, it's a fair theory for sure. Bias says fund isn't even a discussion. It'll 100% fund. It's the tiers that is a question mark. Yeah, totally. But like I'm saying, my point being, if it doesn't hit base funding, I will be devastated. I know it will. I also know it might not. But yeah. Hella says, I can't see it not funding. I really think we'll see a boost this week from Sdcc. Fingers crossed. Pre-ordering mainlines and cold slither before snowcat, says Andrew. Yeah. Hopefully the All Striker is on display at Sdcc. I think it will be. Blitz says, house burned, family not real, friends melted. Poor shipwreck. Yeah, indeed. Michael says, Chris, could on one of the 2 packs that have not been announced yet be Globulus Pythona and one be Cobra La Guards? Michael, I'm going to give something away here in a massive way and say no, and I know for a fact that one of the 2 packs would not be any of those combinations. Does that give you any more information than you'd need? Probably. I think it's pretty fair to assume at this stage that 1 or 2 of those 3, if not 3 of those figures, will eventually come to the classified line, right? Some sooner than others is all I'll say on that one. But I think we can safely assume, without me saying anything too incriminating, that, yeah, you're likely going to see those characters in the classified series before, I don't know, the end of next year, shall we say. My money gone, hence no snowcat for me, says Chris G. Oh, that sucks. Bad Wolf Media says, my challenge is if the cap funds and the unlocks don't, I'm going to have to do a little soul searching on keeping my order in. That's not me bagging on it, just where my head is. Totally. Everyone has different different situations and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that you should get it just so I get it. Guys, you should be buying this just so that I can buy it. It's like, no, like, you have to do what you have to do. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, I'm not forcing you to do it. I'm just joking, really, when I say, come on, guys, we need to get this funded. I genuinely do want it to fund, but only if, like, that can actually practically happen for everyone involved. Globulus will need a deluxe vehicle level release like Serpentor. He needs his pod thing. Yeah, definitely, Ed. I think if they don't do that, they'd be crazy. We either get all the tiers or we get a lot of fan tears. Yes, absolutely. Hi, it's me. From me, mainly. I'd be the one crying. Should have done Haslab during the spring when no figures were released. Yeah, but the problem is, Red, I think they're kind of locked in to do that, Haslab, because also, what's to say that it would, the last 3 have been absolutely runaway trains, right? They haven't. They've been a tank, a HISS tank, a helicopter, and a fighter jet, but not fighter jet, an A-10 based thing. But yeah, the fact that was their previous sort of information they're working on, I'm not surprised they just kept the slot that they were going with for this next one, because you're sort of like, you might get into that kind of mindset. Man, I'm not saying they're complacent here, because a lot of work has gone into that thing, but it might be that thing where you go, oh no, we were okay with that. You don't have to worry about that. That'll be fine. And then on the day when it's like not doing the sort of numbers that you expect it to do, you kind of have to start rethinking things. But I don't think anyone would have foreseen necessarily that it wouldn't have gone absolute gangbusters out of the door, and then you're just waiting for like the last couple of things to get unlocked. Yeah, we'll see at the end. I think you have to make the decision at the end. If it's successful by reaching all of those goals, those tiers, by the end of everything, and the dust has settled, then I think the right decision was made. But if we are shy of like 2 or if not all 3 of those tiers, then yeah, they'll have to rethink things maybe going forward. I'm not sure if like changing the day that the time period of the year that they release it is something that they would probably do, because it's kind of like this. The spot I don't think is the problem. I think like in the year, I think the problem is with the vehicle itself. And when I say problem, I mean it's specialized, for Arctic kind of conditions, and that immediately just brings your audience down a little bit. Like it minimizes it a little bit, more so than something that is like a famous, more commercial, general purpose sort of kind of vehicle. Anyway, Couch says no voting, no unlocking, no early bird. There's zero urgency, no rush. All tiers will fund later because Hasbro set it to forget it. Early bird unlocks to see reveal or urgency are missing. Yeah, there does feel like that too. Anyway, sorry, loads of comments here. I've missed loads. My apologies. I'm not able to get all of them. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Boba Fett says sorry. Pythona confirmed. Yeah. So basically, what are we gonna see over the SDCC? I'm not 100% sure, but some of the things that we can probably bet on are some of the things that we know are coming, and I think like having a few little, I don't know, little surprises in there isn't always a bad thing. I'm expecting leaks the night before though. Like, what are we tonight? I'm expecting some sort of like message soon from someone saying, "Oh God, have you seen this? This was posted on Reddit. This was on this. This was on that." But anyway, yeah, we'll have to see, won't we? We will have to see what happens. But either way, you'll see me probably every night for the next week anyway. So there you go. Right then. That is my SDCC preview for this one. Before I go, I'm just going to hear a quick message from our sponsors, and then I'll be right back to finish the show. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me, guys. Like I said, I'll have loads of content come in for the next week or so. Gonna be lots of like kind of reactions to the day. We're gonna be doing kind of like day recaps basically. So like I said before, it'd be like SDCC day one recap, preview night recap, SDCC day one recap, SDCC, etc., etc. So I'll just be doing that every night. There won't be a weekly, by the way, on Saturday, just in case you're looking for a weekly. There won't be one because obviously I'll be doing these major episodes every evening, going forward until the end of time. Usually it's like Sunday that's like the last one. And then, if there's any more news that pops up on Monday, I'll do it at that point. But at that stage, I think we'll all be sick of seeing me. At that. I'm sick of seeing myself on the screen already. I also want to shout out a really big shout out as well to Super 7, Brian, who sent me these as well. So I've got to do an unboxing of these in that kind of time at some point as well. So thanks very much for the Tiger Force Flint Ultimate and Python Patrol Destro. I will be doing an unboxing of these very, very, as soon as I can, as soon as I get the time. Probably next week though, at this rate. But I can't tell you how excited I am because Flint is one of my faves ever, and Tiger Force is one of my favorite things ever, and they've combined it into a what if Sunbow scenario in Ultimate. So I'm like super jazzed about it. So thank you very much to Super 7 for sending those. Stop sending me stuff. It's ridiculous. Have a wonderful evening, guys, and I will see you tomorrow bright and early at like 6 or 7 o'clock or whatever. And stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.